as like a video on me updating you about my life, some recent purchases I made. Oh, yeah. Let me know because I'd love to make one updating y'all. But today we're going to get into some interesting facts about New Zealand, which was kindly suggested by I forgot. Oh, GHYGEE Home. I'm pretty sure if I got that wrong, I'm really sorry. And our live stream, someone very kindly donated and asked for more ASMR New Zealand facts. So here I am. So I'm just gonna go through some that I've kind of found on Google, and then also just add to them like my personal stuff, you know. Okie doke. So I'm just gonna scroll down a little bit. Okay, so first thing, New Zealand is located in the southern hemisphere, and it's like we're like brothers, we're bros with Australia. So if you know where Australia is, we're literally, this is Australia on a world map, New Zealand's here on your world map, Australia will be here, and New Zealand's like over here. It takes about, I want to say 4 hours maybe, or 3 hours, let me just check that. How many hours to get to Oz from NZ? It takes 3 hours, sorry, from about 3 to 4 hours to get from New Zealand to Australia. And yeah, so New Zealand consists of two islands. There's the North Island and there's the South Island. And the South Island is a lot colder, because if this is New Zealand, like this, Antarctica is at the very, very bottom, of the southern hemisphere, and which means that the closer you are to the bottom of the world, it means the colder you are. And so the South Island is a lot colder, unfortunately, than the North Island, which is closer to the equator, which is hotter. I think that there's quite a small amount of parts that get a lot of snow in the North Island. I think it's mainly around the TVC, which is what I'm studying, the Tongariro volcanic zone, which is next to Taupo, which is the middle of the North Island, a massive super volcano, one of like a very, very few in the world. And because obviously it's an alpine climate there, orographic rainfall, if you know the geography processes, I can also explain that to you if you guys want a video on me explaining geography processes to you. Then snow forms there. But yeah, so there's two islands. Oh yeah, I guess there's 2 islands. North Island, South Island. And the capital of New Zealand is Wellington. Though a lot of people think that the capital is Auckland, because Auckland is the biggest city in New Zealand. Auckland is at the top of the North Island. This is the island, it's about here, and it's got around 1 million people living in it. There is around 5, probably a bit over 5 now, 5 million people that live in New Zealand. And let's see how big is New Zealand. New Zealand is 268,021 kilometers long. It's pretty big. And then, I don't know how many, it is the 6th largest island country. It has a maximum width of 400 kilometers. I'm trying to think about that. So yeah, so there's 1 million people, so a fifth of our population lives in Auckland. And then Wellington is the capital, and it's at the very, very bottom of the North Island. So islands, Wellington's here, Auckland's here, this is South Island. It's at the very bottom of the North Island, and the government building, or the capital building, is called the Beehive, and it looks like, it's like a circular, and it goes up, and it kind of like goes into a dome, so it's like that, and that's where the Prime Minister lives, works, monarchs and the rest of Parliament sorry, my foot's cramping. Ow. Fun fact, there are more sheep in New Zealand than people. It says here that there is 10 sheep to one person, because New Zealand is in the South Island, I think, there is a lot of sheep farming, and I think maybe in the North Island there's a lot of dairy farming, so cows and milking and stuff like that. But in the South Island there's a lot of sheep farming. It's just the different terrains sheep can live in, like the sorry, my door's just being a little bit funny. The sheep like to live on the mountains and the hills, and they like that like rocky kind of land, but the cows can't. I guess they're a bit bigger, so they like to live on the flatter. I mean, obviously they're not just going to be like, I'm not going to live here if there's a hill, but they prefer the flat, and that works best for farmers as well. I don't know. There is a town in New Zealand which is the longest town name in the world, and I'm going to try to Taumata whakatangi anga koa atua mate aturi puka kapi ki maunga horo nuku pokai whenua ki te ana tahu. I'm sorry if I absolutely butchered that, but that name is in Maori. Did I say Maui? I say Maui, my tongue went to say it, but I say Maui. The indigenous language of New Zealand is Maori, and the first people to ever live in New Zealand was Maori. And so originally, Maori were just living their life, happy as can be in New Zealand, and then English settlers came over and were like, you know what, this is a pretty nice place to live, let's take it all. And so there was this big war, until the Treaty of Waitangi was signed up in Waitangi, which visits the two islands, North Island. Waitangi is right at the top of the North Island, and they signed a treaty, and they said, okay, there was two versions, right, because the Maori had never encountered any English people, so they didn't know how to speak English. I think that they slowly kind of started to learn, and I'm really, like, this is like my knowledge, guys, so I'm sorry if it's like, I don't know. And so they had two versions of the treaty signed up, one in English that was different to the one that they gave the tribes in Maori, and all of the different, I don't think it was all of them, a lot of the Maori, what are they called, chiefs from the different tribes, came to this big meeting and signed, and the Maori were like, there was a bunch of rules, and there was things that they wanted, and they said, these what we wanted, we want like ownership of our land or something like that, I don't really know, and so they said, this is what we want, and so the English drew up a contract to Maori that agreed to everything they said, but then they did a different one in English, so it was supposed to be a direct translation, so this is the Maori one and this is the English one, and they did a different translation in the English, and so when the Maori signed it, because they didn't know obviously any English, they signed all these things that they didn't want to do, but they didn't know, and so it was really, really awful, and so now Maori tribes and everything are still trying to get back the land that was literally stolen from them, and they're just trying to, like, it's awful, like, it's genuinely, like, I can't imagine that, but I'm myself Kiwi. Anyone that you meet that's most likely in New Zealand calls themselves a Kiwi. Kind of just like a weird thing that we do. But so we have the Kiwi, like as in the person. We have the Kiwi fruit, and we have the Kiwi bird, which is native bird to New Zealand. So yeah. It says here New Zealand is similar in size to the UK, but only houses 4 million people. This must be older. Houses 5 million people, compared to 63 million people that live in the UK. Okay. Only 5% of its living population are humans. The remaining 95% of life are animals. Damn. Baldwin Street, which is in Dunedin, I'm pretty sure, in the South Island, is the steepest road in the world. Like, it literally goes down. It's crazy. New Zealand was the first country to allow women to vote. Women's rights, guys. According to the corruption percentage, this is so unrelated, but New Zealand is one of the least corrupt countries in the world. Yay! If you go to Gisborne, which I think is in the North Island, it's the first place in the planet to see the sunrise. So that's pretty cool. There's 3 official languages in New Zealand. Guess them if you want to. 1, 2, and 3. It's English, Maori, and New Zealand Sign Language. I can sing a song, guys. Goes in the morning. Can you hear the two we go? Can you hear the two we go? Can you? And that's tui is a native bird in New Zealand. We have so many native birds and native animals and everything. Like, it's so cool. There's literally probably a reserve or a park or something on every neighborhood. And there's a ridiculous amount of mountains and parks and things like that. The Maori name for New Zealand is Aotearoa. I'm tongue twisting myself. Aotearoa is spelled A-O-T-E-A-R-O-A. Aotearoa, which translates to land of the long white cloud. And Maori myth believes. Actually, I'm just gonna search this up so that I can get it right. How was it found? Maori myth. Okay, listen to this, guys. The demigod Maui is said to have dragged. This is the North Island, but I think it's both. Is said to have dragged the islands from the ocean using the jawbone of his grandmother as a hook. So he paddled out with his brothers, I think. And then fished down, grabbed the hook, and then there's a lot in this one as well where he harnessed the sun, so he hooked the sun and went to I don't know. If you guys want a video on that, Maori mythology is really cool. And if you're interested as well, just literally search up Maori mythology, specifically anything related to Maui is really cool. But there's also a lot of stuff around the Papatunuku and Ranginui. Papatunuku is the Earth Mother, and Ranginui is the Sky Father. And it's like there's a whole myth where they were together and then they were separated. And in anger, I don't know, there's just like a whole bunch of things. They threw their children out, and the children wanted to fix it. Hang on, it has a picture of their children. They had. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, they tried to push them apart. The brothers tried to get rid of them, like separate them. Sorry, the carriage tour is being really loud. It's like over there, but it's really loud. So. The biggest tree in New Zealand is called Tanimuta, and So as soon as you turn 5, you join primary school. Then you stay at primary school from year 1. So when you're 5, you're in year 1. Then you get to year 8, where you're about maybe 12, 13. And then you go to intermediate, that is intermediate. Year 7 and 8 is considered intermediate at New Zealand. But a lot of primary schools just go from year 1 to year 8, but some go from year 1 to year 6. And then once you get to year 8, you go to high school, and that's from year 9 to year 13. And from years 11 to year 13, that's when you do NCEA level 1, level 2, and then level 3. It's very complicated, so sorry if that's a little bit confusing. The most popular sport in New Zealand is rugby, and our national rugby team is called the All Blacks, and they are really cool. If you haven't seen them, definitely give them a search on YouTube after this video, of course. But I was saying everything's like a reserve for a thing. 30% of the country is a national reserve, and the TVC was I think it was one of the first to be named National Reserve. The Blue Lake in Nelson Lakes National Park is the clearest water in the world, with a visibility of 70 to 80 meters, guys. That is so crazy. Okay, I'm looking at this next one. Odd stuff about New Zealand. There is a big obsession for big things. There is literally in the North Island, there's like a big carrot, there's a big, like I said before, L&B bottle, there's a big kiwi fruit. Like, they're really cool landmarks, but they're like everywhere. It is encouraged to run over possums. Yeah, possums, stoats, ferrets, rats are major pests in New Zealand. Like, people go out and set traps to kill them because they kill all our native birds and kiwis and wildlife. But it's really weird because if you go to Australia, then they're like sacred. They're like, don't, like hallelujah possums, you know, like they love them. They're like their babies. And we're like, get rid of them. But it says that they were introduced for the fur trade in 1987. But here, they're spermed to a point where they're jumping through about 20,000 tons of vegetation a night, destroying ecosystems of native birds. So they just go and they eat the eggs out of the nests and stuff. Especially because kiwis are ground animals. Not cool. There's a lot of weird names of roads. Okay, I'm just gonna look at one more, guys. There's an official wizard in New Zealand. That's pretty cool. It is the cleanest water. Like I said, that lake in Nelson Lakes National Park is the cleanest water. New Zealand is the first country in the world to celebrate a new day. That is pretty cool, guys. Okay, let me just have a really quick look. Wherever you are in New Zealand, it says you are never more than 128 kilometers away from an ocean. So that's pretty cool. Oh my gosh, we used to have really big birds. We used to have this massive bird called a moa, and it was like, its legs were like this thick, and it was like humongous, and if you saw it, you'd probably die, because it was really scary. But what was I going to say? We have nothing that will kill you. I think the only thing is, like I said, there's June spider, and someone said it in my other video what the name of it was. There's a spider, and that's literally it. There's a white tail that might give you a bit of an infection, but that's it. There's no snakes, crocodiles, scorpions, poisonous animals, tigers, lions. There's nothing. You can go out into the bush and literally sleep there for like the rest of your life, and nothing would come and get you. Like, it's so incredibly safe. think New Zealand was rated like the safest country in the world. I think it got a bit twisted up with COVID because we were in lockdown for like a year. And I think that might have affected it a bit. But it's rated one of the best countries in the world. No offense. Rated one of the best countries in the world. Rated one of the most safest countries in the world. It's just a cool country. There's always something to do. There's so many like activities and mountains and like such cool things to do. You're never bored. So we're really lucky to live here. But yeah guys, I think that's the end of the video. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to comment. Thumbs up. Oh, my light's gone a bit weird. Thumbs up, and let me know what you guys thought. I hope that you learned a little bit about New Zealand. I will see you all in my next video. Thank you so much for